follow the peace edict. This is the rule.
Welcome to the Gardens of Isa, home of the Summer Court and the warm heart of the Feylands. It is a rare occasion for us to welcome a child of dust into Isa, but it is equally rare that Niralim chooses a champion. Pleased to meet you. I am Chancellor to the High King. I pray you enjoy our hospitality. High King Teterian is Lord of the Summerfey, the font of all our wisdom, and first amongst the immortals. And since Godflow tragically murdered the High King of the Winter Court, Teterian is the greatest and last true leader left of our kind. Too many mortals misunderstand the Winter Court. Our cold cousins are not evil, but merely evoke the darker truths of nature, from subtlety to decay. Perhaps it makes sense that children of dust are put off by those who embody their inevitable death, but it is regrettable that so many are misunderstood. Truly a place of wonder, as it has always been and always shall be. Here springs the life well of Dalentarth, and the greater Feylands in all directions. It is a pity that some of our kind have fallen to such degenerative states, but we cannot shed a tear for their weakness. We are the Summer Court, the very embodiments of courage, honor, and all things bright and proud. Some envious few in the Winter Court would call us arrogant and self-righteous, as well as all manner of other epithets. But remember, we are the ones who stayed true to tradition, while they turned to barbarism. The Tuatha find new recruits from our ranks. The sapling of the World Tree bears centuries of great wisdom. Of course, long-lived as Nirlam is, it is still regrettably mortal. Even all greatest mortal wisdom cannot compare to the perspective given by true agelessness. Begging your pardon, of course. The ranks of the Fae were not always sullied by the presence of anything so coarse as the Tuatha. Once, the Summer and Winter Courts existed in harmony. But Godflow perverted the Winter Court with talk of his new god, and from that poison, the Tuatha arose.
Ah, a morsel.
The maid, convinced of Olain's threat, agreed to free the town. The people offered thanks and praise, and quietly she went her ways. Once the ill were brought to health, and the villain had fallen by, good Olain returned to mortal ground, and gifted them with magic found.
Excuse me, mortal.
Greetings. What have I done now? Someone in Isa is always looking to send me away. But I won't go, no. Well, if it isn't the mortal I've heard so much about. Congratulations on your successes in the House of Ballads. Well done indeed. I have heard he is a noble spirit, a beacon of wisdom and calm in this changing world. I will never know for certain if this is true, unless I look upon him directly. I have done little in my many seasons, than venture to this place and attempt to gain an audience with King Teterian. I have yet to succeed, but I keep coming. All those who come to greet the king must first be granted permission by the Hall of Appointments in the Understyle, which I might say seems rather inconvenient. You mortals are talented at fighting what is natural. Perhaps this is your influence. How may I serve you, Your Eminence? I have always been a great admirer of Hallam the White.
Enidon grant you blessing.
Damn quiet, damn fools. I'm sorry, friend, I didn't see you there. I'm afraid I'm a bit concerned. I'm an experienced sagecrafter. My skills as a mage leave much to be desired, but no one knows stones like I do. There are many things we have learned from our time with the Fae, though their magic is quite unlike ours. The finest practitioners of the arcane crafts on the continent can be found within the Order. A few nights ago, I was the victim of an attempted robbery. Someone sought to steal a gem of mine from a chest I warded myself. That night, 3 initiates fled the chapter. Cassera, Aloran, and Bertrand. I suspect they were somehow involved. They could only have run into the Sidhe. Can you find them? Someone attempted to steal a valuable gem from me, and on the very same evening, 3 of our initiates disappeared. Cassera, Aloran, and Bertrand. They're somehow involved in the attempted theft, and at the very least, in danger while on the Sidhe. Thank you. Find out what happened and I'll be grateful. You've got to find them. They're somewhere in the Sidhe, I'm sure of it. There's 3 of them. Cassera, Bertrand, and Aloran. They must be in the Sidhe. Find them there. Until next time.
Well, happy to see an unfamiliar face. Scholia Arcana's close-knitted enough without being sequestered in Isa. If you do enough good works, the Scholia sends you to Isa. Apparently, they're keen on learning some of the magics of the Fae. Didn't know the Fae had cities, or whatever you might call this, until I came out here. I can understand why they wouldn't want to share it, though. I love the Order. Never felt more at home than among my peers. But I only wish there were more of us. Stop by again.
Welcome to the Isa chapter house of the Scholia Arcana. How may I be of assistance? As a docent of the Scholia Arcana, my duties involve handling all tasks necessary for the day-to-day administration of the Order's affairs in Isa. Despite Joram's frustrations, the wild magic of the Fae can be channeled in the most extraordinary ways. It is a great honor for us to be granted a place among them. The Isa chapter is but a small branch of our larger Rathir chapter in the plains of Erethel. We focus more on researching the magics of the Fae and Dalentarth than pure instruction. We are a collective of mages, and those that have a mind to unravel the ethereal phenomena of these Faelands and beyond. We are an order of magic practitioners dedicated to the fostering of knowledge regarding all things mystical and arcane. While the heart of our power lies in Rathir, we keep an embassy here in Isa to maintain strong relations with the Fae. Traditionally, our applicants undergo years of preparation, but we understand your circumstances are somewhat irregular. Ever since you entered the city, we've been watching you. After all, an endorsement from Niralim is not quickly dismissed. If it is your wish to join our order, you must first complete the trial of initiation. It is a ritual that will better equip us to understand what place you might have among us. I will not lie. Some do not survive the ordeal. Of those who do, only a select few are chosen to become members of our order. Then first I shall present you with this. It is the story of the Order's founding and a good primer for all who wish to join our ranks. Now I shall summon the circle of mages necessary to perform the ritual. Savant Engar will lead the trial. Speak to him in the Delving Hall when you're ready to begin. It is not for me to divulge the details of the trial. I can only advise that you do not take the risk lightly. We are a society of mages dedicated to the study of magic. Short of joining, the best way to learn about the Order is to read On the Founding of the Scholia Arcana. Farewell.
Hello. Speak to Pel Grandy or Will Donnell if you're looking for supplies.
Don't know if we've had the pleasure. I'm the finest merchant in these parts, I assure you. When I first arrived here at the instruction of the Order, I was terrified of the Fae. They are nothing like us. Can't say that I have much in the way of magical ability, but I know trade better than anyone else here, and they appreciate it here. You can't just have a group of book-minded mages and expect the organization to take care of itself. They rely on people to look after the logistics, like me. See you soon, I hope.
Greetings.
Greetings. I have some ability with the art of sage crafting. Do you wish for some instruction? The Fae possess a certain communion with the magical energies of nature that we mortals can only dream of. I came to the Scholia Arcana because magic flows through my family, my entire people. And though the magic is strong, it gives few answers to the questions of life. What is this power? Where does it come from? I hope to learn these truths in time. Many try to join our order, but most do not have the skill necessary to be of use. I shall be here. There is always time to grow your skills. Should you wish, I can offer you a chance to improve your ability. I shall be here.
Concentrate on the task at hand.
Let us get this over with.
We can speak when you return.
I am not here for so focus, newcomer. The trial has started. Yes? Greetings. I will be the savant presiding over your trial of initiation. Traditionally, applicants have prepared for the challenges of this trial through years of study and training. But as Augur mentioned, we realize you are unique. Do you have any questions before we begin? The magic of the ritual confronts the applicant with his or her own potential. Consequently, no two experiences are the same. How this potential manifests varies. Whatever takes place is for the applicant only. Tradition dictates it is never spoken of. And a final warning. While whatever shape the magic takes isn't real, not truly, what happens can have real consequences. Do not underestimate the danger. This is a fluid magic. The form it takes varies according to the power and nature of the ritual's focus. In this case, you. The goal is a simple one: survive. Like every Scholia Arcana member before you, to join our ranks, you must first confront the specter of your potential. And be aware that I am watching. Now, proceed into the center of the circle to begin. Good luck. Not the most welcoming place, is it? Is that a pile of corpses? Fascinating. Don't pay any attention to my ramblings, Initiate. Those fair Gorta look like they're out for blood. Possess quite the capacity for violence. Intriguing. By the founders, what is that? A synergistic construct of all chemical elements resonant within a sage-crafted crystalline substance. I do hope you survive the trial. We must discuss this further. The first phase of the trial is complete. Proceed. Another cave. How interesting. Ah, a waterfall. That's lovely. What in blazes to offer? Your tales are excellent. You obviously know them well. Something is terribly wrong. Ahead, I sense another's presence in the trial. Dissonance? Growing? Cannot...
Where am I? What is this place? The dark Empyrean. I cannot remember. I cannot remember anything. And you. I smell death on you, child. Why have you summoned me here? I am the Dark Empyrean, and I will not be bound by you or those you serve. I could kill you now, but I have plans for those who watch from the shadows. Now be gone.
Such power. One moment we were linked, sustaining the magic of the trial, and then an arc of energy, the likes of which I have never seen, burst from you. 3 mages lay dead, and 2 have fled screaming. I know the trial is not meant to be shared, but what in Lyria's name happened? A difficult question. The purpose of the spell is to confront the focus, in this case you, with a force representative of his or her potential. How it goes about this is, well, uncertain. The magic finds a way. So I must ask, what happened in your trial? What did you encounter? A woman? Masked in shadow? I will need to consult my books. Perhaps later we can discuss the details. For now, we have dead to bury and missing mages to find. As for the formalities, you have proven yourself worthy in the trial of initiation. In the name of the Scholia Arcana, I hereby confer unto you the title of Neophyte. Welcome to the Order. Come speak to me when you're ready to be of use. It is a wondrous world we have been graced with, and among its marvels is the force of magic that builds in strength every day. We have a responsibility to know what these forces are, so that we may better control it. Oh, right. You passed. Up until the point where all hell broke loose, you were even doing well. Not that we expected anything less. Ah, yes. Newly welcomed applicants are known as neophytes. In time, those who have progressed to handling certain amounts of responsibility may become docents. Particularly gifted members may one day reach the rank of adept. They are traditionally the agents of the Scholia Arcana, to whom great tasks may be entrusted. A very few may reach the rank of savant. These are the leaders of the Order, and they yield only to one, the Art Sage. I am sending you to the ruin of Aod, to the south. There, the element of fire thrives as though it has a life of its own. After your initiation trial, the magic in Aod shifted. I believe this magic is tied to you, Initiate. Confronting it might yield some answers. Priests of Rekor have long sealed Aod from entry, but we know it to be an ancient ruin. If you're interested in the details, read Velthilian Carr's Aod, the Mythos of Mayhem. I'm sure our library has a copy. Somewhat self-destructive cultists who worship the arcane aspects of fire. They frequent places they believe blessed by Rekor, and do not welcome trespassers. He is, one of the most gifted sage-crafters we have produced in generations. Wherever he may be, I hope he is safe, and will soon return to the fold. It does not surprise me that Nuala survived the backlash of power that killed 3 of her brethren. From the first day of her novitiate, she demonstrated an insatiable curiosity and remarkable talent. But now, I can't help but wonder if we pushed her too hard. Followers of Record dwell within. They have quite the affinity for fire, as do other creatures found there. As for what may be causing the recent swelling in power emanating from the ruin, your guess is as good as mine. Where did I put my quill? There you are.
I'm used.
Oh, excellent. Another... Oh, a mortal. I don't think I could... Oh, why, you're the ruler of the House of Ballads. How extraordinary. You wouldn't be interested in aiding a mere squire, would you? It is well beyond your station to do so, but, well, I face quite the predicament. Few dustlings ever make their way to these gardens. I believe they fear us, as they fear the elements. As they should. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you not like to be called dustlings? Well, I've never met him, of course. Such an honor is not granted to squires. But they say he is quite incredible. As tall as a tree and radiating a great light. As though a sun burned within him. The birds sing to herald his glory. I enjoy my role as steward, but my fear of Lady Olana overshadows any pleasure I might find in the tasks assigned to me. She is quite critical. She is well suited to her role as the Lady of Receivership, as she enjoys judging the worth of others. She has assessed me as well, and I have been found lacking. I am steward of the High King's List, and apprentice to the Lady of Receivership. Olana will be so displeased once she finds out I failed her so. My role is with the Hall of Appointments, to prepare visiting ambassadors and dignitaries to meet with the Court of Summer. Right now there are 4 terrible, regal lords and ladies that wish to see High King Tatarian. But they are a fickle lot, and require extra, handling. They must enter the font in a procession, but each has his or her own preferences, and I can't afford to offend any of them. Wonderful. That's one less aggravation that demands my concern. Thank you, mortal. The dignitaries have been seen about the gardens, enjoying its many splendors. I will remain here and await your advice. Everywhere. Goronet is in the Hall of Appointments, but the others are all over the city. What a nightmare. Goodbye, Your Grace.
I await news from the Hall of Appointments, but surely you aren't their messenger. The ruler of the House of Ballads serves no one. Order? I care nothing for order. It is the others who insist on such foolishness and frippery. However, if you are the one who determines such things, may I ask that you place me behind the warlord Wenery? I enjoy watching her backside travel. It would be best if Garnet trails far behind Great Huntress Hartwin. Once at each other's throats, those two are difficult to tear apart. Always a pleasure. I am at your service, fleshy master. How may I serve you, Your Eminence? Is my presence required? Remember, behind Lady Whinery. Always a pleasure. I am at your service, fleshy.
All who wish to see Tyrion must go through Olana here in the Hall of Appointments.
If you need binding, I can provide. What may I do for you, Your Grace? I am always ready to serve the sage-crafting needs of the House of Ballads. This is where those who seek an audience with the Summer Court must first make their claim. And once that claim is honored, I will prepare them for reception. The Fae fulfill roles in the telling, be it king or steward. If one wishes to ascend the heavens, one must abide by the laws of nature. I am the attendant of the court's list, and the lady of receivership. I am trained in all aspects of courtly customs and stand 12th closest advisor to the High King. Your kind has tried for so long to gain access to this sacred place, to be near us. Yet here you all are. And I rarely see a single mortal in the understyle. What do they fear, I wonder? Goodbye.
If this were my city, I'd want to hide it too.
They send the ruler of the House of Ballads to serve me? What form of unnatural mortal game is this? Why are you here? Me? Well, my seniority dictates that I should be leading this procession, but my lame leg prevents me from taking my rightful place. I should bring up the rear. I will make it to Tartarean's throne, even if I have to crawl. Great Huntress Heartwen should go first, leading us all. She's particularly like that. I would hate to anger her. Of course.
This is a place of great importance. Please refrain from touching anything. Yes?
You'll have to excuse my state, Your Grace. The House of Ballads rarely sends its ruler to meet with me. I usually entertain mortals from Felltown. It may be difficult to believe, but the city was once inhabited only by Fae. The understyle consisted of everything growing beneath the font. Now this important section of the Isa is but a dark corner. All but forgotten. I am the steward of tinctures and elixirs. A meaningless title, one I gave myself, actually. But my work is vital, as is my role, to test the font's magic. Font Master Nomeron insists that everything flows as it should, yet I have seen his worry, and I feel the magic weakening. Strange forces are at work. This is where we watch over the font, the source of magic in the gardens of Isa. It is a fountainhead that is nourished for as long as this world has been. The font's flow can be measured, directed, and even regulated, depending on the needs of our people. Font Master Nomeron attends to these duties. He has the role of monitoring the font's flow throughout the city and the Feylands. His telling is not to be envied, as it is one of our most important. I enjoy the mortal world immensely. It adds such texture and color to our experience. Now and then you might find me in your dustling district, taking in the bustle. Goodbye. Welcome to the Lyceum Grove, my liege. How may I aid the house? If you ever wish to learn, come visit.
Welcome.
Turn away, mortal. The Den of Night is meant for the impudent. Your entrance shall be denied. It is where the brazen and unrepentant are sent to consider their crimes. Must I point out that the Den of Night's occupants are almost always mortals? They are given time to reflect, and when they are ready, they may brave the beasts of the hollow to return to us here on the surface. It's a great privilege for mortals to reside in this, our most sacred dwelling. Try to deny your dustling impulses and resist from killing each other. My own telling has brought me here to the Gardens of Isa, to act as one of its guardians and caretakers. I'll protect it from any threat, including you. I do not want to see you in here, mortal. This is the wrong path, mortal.
This dwelling gets quite raucous. You mortals have a strange tendency to befoul anything you touch.
If you're looking to drown your worries at the bottom of a bottle, this is the place for you. I'm Goethe and Asker, and this is my establishment. But if you're looking for the Victor's Brew, we don't sell that in Asker's Alley, and you'll have to take your business elsewhere. There's a brewery near Rathir that makes it. Very small, very secretive. But they've found their niche, that's for certain. Cheap and powerful. It's not a drink for the man who appreciates craftsmanship, tradition. It just helps the soldiers forget all they've been through. I wouldn't say I ran from the war, I just don't need to know every little thing that's going on. There are other ways to help. Getting folks drunk is one of them. I know better than to criticize the Fae. They call us children of dust. We treat them like people, but they're like no people I've ever met. This city has been here for thousands of years. Longer than that, even. It will be here long after we're gone. The ambassadors requested that facilities be created where flesh and blood folks could put their feet up. Not that the Fae know what that means. So the Almain approached my family about starting a tavern. The alley does well, but I'm no businessman. It's the most popular drink in Amalur, at least it is now. My Asker's Ale used to be the preferred beverage, but every day brings more cancelled orders. My brother and I are working on a new drink, but it requires something special. Wait a minute. Maybe you could help. If you do, I could see to it that the merchants in Isa treat you well. So here's what we're thinking. Bring back our grandmother's favorite Asker's Draft, a classic. The recipe calls for bristletongue seeds, and if you're talking rare ingredients, bristletongue tops the list. It's worthless for potions, but tastes fabulous. The problem is that the Fae control the use of bristletongue, as it's a product of the Font's waters. Talk to Jackson, their apothecary. He can probably get it for us. It's been in our family for 4 generations, since the days of Almir the Bold. Our grandmother entrusted us with the formula, and we made a fortune from it. But I'm afraid we've been replaced by a new drink. Almir the Bold was the first king of the Almain. He brought us out of lawlessness and misery. We've always wanted to name a drink after him. He spends his time in the Lyceum Grove in the understyle section of town. He's an odd duck, always crafting new tonics. Some advice? Don't drink any. Good luck.
You look like one who enjoys a game of hexes. We mortals need something of our own here in Isa. Why can't it be gambling? If you don't know how, I can teach you. Not much to do here in the Fae City, but lighten your pockets and have a good time doing it. But I jest. You have a lucky look about you, stranger. What do you want to know about me for? Is this some kind of Fae interrogation? Keep your curiosity to yourself, friend. Folks here have gold. That's enough for me. I don't care where I find myself, just so long as the people there are willing to pay. You had a look about you. Listen, all you need recall is these 6 cards here in my hand. Ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, and the hex. First, you start with an ante. What'll it be? In my hand, there's an ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5, and a hex. 6 cards all mixed up. First round, you guess even or odd. If you're right on a hex or an ace, you take the pot and we're done. Right on any other, and it's on to the second hand. Hand number 2. I'll pull another card, guess if it's higher or lower than the first. Get it right, you win. Simple as that. Bold, I like it. Now, will the card I draw be even or odd? Yes! And it's a 4. You got it. Now what's your bet? Now that's some real coin on the table. Now, make your guess. Second card, higher or lower than the first? Higher, you say? Ah, it's an ace. Couldn't get lower. No win. You'll be back.
The House of Ballads must have taught you courtly manners, but not enough to keep you from interrupting. What is it, Your Grace? I am not petty, but I have limits, as do we all. I know I should lead the formation because of my position, but other, more tender individuals will insist otherwise. Whatever you do, do not make me walk behind the High Fae Mage Goronet. How shall I put this? He has an odor. If you value this position, you will make sure Lord Setter is not behind Huntress Hartwin. She finds him despicable, as do I. Of course. But see that it doesn't happen again.
If you see that rodent Brick Hodkin,
Goods in conversation here. Hey there, pretty. This is Asker's Alley, best tavern in Isa. Only tavern in Isa, of course, but you didn't know that, did you? If you're new in the city, I can help. I know everything. About the Understyle, the Embassy, the Scholia Arcana, you name it. I know it all. It's the Fae neighborhood on the other side of the city. There you'll find the Hall of Appointments and the Lyceum Grove. They don't mind if you go exploring in the Understyle, but I wouldn't suggest it unless you know your way around. The Fae can be easily offended. Olana and her squire Brio, they have the good fortune to meet with all the nobles who visit the High King. A life of lords and ladies. Oh, that's the life for me. So you want to brush up on your bad luck, do you? That game will do it for you, all right. Speak with Kali in the back. Like I said, it's all magic to me. If the Fae said this city got its power from glowing purple antelopes, I'd probably believe them. I'm just a hostess. Sure, we've got a place to sleep on the floor over there, but it'll cost you. Fine, it's up to you. Let me just say that I adore Olana. She's one of the few Fae that I've met face to face, and she couldn't be more pleasant. Such a pretty one. Oh, if I had the finery and manners, you wouldn't find me anywhere but the Embassy Hall. I'd even buy a title. But it's a dreadful place these days, what with the war. The Darkofar and Varani are practically at arms over their differences, and everyone speaks in a whisper. I prefer the United Merchants delegation. Those are my people. The Askers took me in when my pa was killed in the war. That's been nearly 10 years. Now this is my home, pretty. It's where you'll find me every day and every night. Is that the one at the far end of the Understyle? Yeah, I think that's the place. Never been there, but folks say that's where the Fae make the waterfalls. You see, the city gets its magic from the water. They call it the fountain. Or is it the wellspring? I never remember. I'm sure it's just a story anyway. Oh, that's a sinister spot, isn't it? Even the Fae take a few extra steps to walk clear of there. Don't trust anyone in robes. When Isa first opened, the Alfar approached the humans about creating a shared shop, so people here could get their sundries. All of this was lost on the Fae, of course. Most of the United Merchants are good people, like Wystron and Gwenna. But that blacksmith's apprentice, Britt Codgan, he's a leech. We provide your basic public service. Ale, and if drinking isn't your thing, then you can always stop by the Hexes game and back. Bye now.
Don't trust anyone.
Then we must do what needs to be done.
Perhaps we must finally swallow our dignity and draw our swords. Quiet. We must not discuss this further in the open. Welcome. You must be the special messenger Tatarian's expecting. Trust me, the rest of us have heard plenty about it. Erwin can't keep his big mouth shut. I am Methani Keen, Dokulfar ambassador to the Summer Court Fae. I'm sorry. This is a difficult position sometimes. I've met with him several times. I'll admit, he radiates a certain presence, but I'm less interested in charisma than I am in leadership. They are a council of Fae nobles that advise the High King in matters of politics. Not that they even understand what that means. To them, politics is just a game. Well, more of a game than usual. You understand my meaning. Isa is fine, and the Fae are tolerable, but many believe they should do more to support the war effort. It's unjust to live in peace while the rest of the world burns. This is where the Fae hide us to keep us out of sight. I used to take offense, but I got over it. I wouldn't want to live near them. Strange things, the Fae. Something is about to happen, and it must be stopped. But that is all I can say. This is neither the time nor the place. If you're interested in hearing my story, meet me in the worship circle after dark, near the gates. I will wait for you there. This is not the place. I will meet you in the time and place I specified. Goodbye.
Let me guess. You're here to buy a title. No? A bribe, is that what you want? Listen to me. I'm no one's plaything. I apologize. Forgive me. Sometimes the work in this place is too much. I thought Isa would be different, but it's just another nest of snakes. I don't believe the Fae see the Losselfar and Doppelfar as separate groups. They tend to view the world in strict generalities, along bloodlines and origins. Sometimes working alongside the Doppelfar is difficult, but we have an arrangement. They adhere to their goals and methods, and we adhere to ours. The war is the only reason I'm not still resisting my appointment. Something must be done. You know it as well as I do. The Fae must help. Who knows our enemy better? Do yourself this one favor and leave this place as quickly as you came. It's a den of deceit and malice. You don't want friends like these. You think I want to be here, stuck in this giant vegetable? Never. My mother volunteered me for this position, and I had no choice. I have a young soldier back home who waits for me. But can I be with him before he sails? No. I have to administer to the Fae. By then.
I apologize, but one of my station has many obligations to attend to. Please, excuse me.
Welcome to the embassy, young one. I am Scholar Icob of the Domus Politica. What brings you to my chamber? A flighty creature. During my audience with the king, he forgot my name not once, but twice. It was insulting. But did he notice? Never. We have a unique interest in the Fae, but I cannot explain further. I will say this. Their supposed immortality poses a problem to all mortals. The scholars in Odessa have a keen interest in gaining High King Titarian's trust and cooperation. There's so much to learn from him. I have no love for the other races here, if that's what you're asking. The Varani are coarse and brutal, while the Alpha are scheming and treacherous. The Ormain, well, they don't leave much of an impression, if I must be honest. I'll forgive them for their blandness. After all, they are so young. We find them endlessly fascinating, in their ambition, in their magic, and in their disregard for the natural order. We could learn much from such creatures. I've had a long career as an ambassador with the Domus Politica, and as a clerk in the Grand Bursars. But the real work will be done out here, in the wider world. There's much to be gained from an alliance with the Summer Court, although I can't say I enjoy working with Fae directly. They're too set in their ways, too rigid. They've already grown and changed. The Tuatha themselves are a new breed of creature, a fascinating amalgam that should be explored. Until we meet again.
Aren't you bold? This is the Varani wing of the embassy, and few venture here without being summoned. I'm Ambassador Advar, he who bloodies the waters. The High King knows why we are here, yet he does nothing. Our people die at the hands of the Tuatha, Fae, but the Fae themselves show no remorse. Titarian and the Summer Court will know our anger, and they will aid us or perish. I enjoy being this close to those I'm competing against. That's what this is, isn't it? A conflict in which we struggle to gain the ear of the Fae. As always, the Varani will triumph. I have served my people for 40 years, in war and in peace. Now I serve here, in the gardens. It is here where the important battles are fought, the Battle of Wills. I have lived in less hospitable places. The Fae may not understand what it means to be mortal, but they certainly have an eye for beauty. I don't have time for this.
I am Ambassador Brenner. If you wish to deal with the Varani, I am your contact. They don't deserve the breath I waste on them. There are powerful warriors in their ranks, but as a group they share no collective spine. They have no reason to fight. I do not enjoy this position, talking instead of fighting, speaking of the enemy instead of facing them, but I have a job to do, and I will do it. This is not a life I chose, here in this fetid swamp of a city. I was raised on the sea, an adventurer and warrior. I survived, and that made me what you see before you.
Hello, I am Ambassador Calder of the Almain. We may be new to the region, but we are just as involved in matters of the Fae and the war. It is simply an honor to be here. We Almain are doing our part for the war effort, but there are plenty of other relationships to forge far from the battlefields. Despite my position as lead ambassador to the Summer Court, I am an outsider. There is bad blood between some of the races. As a result, I try to steer my own course. I do not wish to speak ill of other diplomats, but Ambassadors Keen and Brenner of the Alphard and Varani are plotting against each other, as if we need more deception. Like most of my kin, I have humble roots. My parents were both trappers on the Snaketail River, feeding much of Whitestone Village back before it fell on hard times. See you later, friend.
Hope you're here about the job. Demand is higher than ever. I'm just too busy to deal with anything else. Sure. You want to know about me? It's understandable. You want to know who you're going into business with. A wise move. Very wise. My mother was a merchant in Rathir, and I learned the trade at her side. I took the apprenticeship with Gwenna Hand, mostly to get me into Isa. Now I'm on my own. She's the general merchant in the United Merchants delegation down the road. We've been friends for years now, I believe. A good, honest one, that Gwenna. Not just anyone can enter the secret city of the Fae. Oh no. You need an ambassador's endorsement and written authorization, and that's just to be in the lottery. Those in the United Merchants are the lucky ones. Of course, once you see how much gold they actually make in Isa, you will no longer envy them. I can sum up the war in one word. Folly. It is folly. You will see. Everyone will see. What do I know of Fae politics? I didn't even know they had a city until Gwen and I were allowed in. All I know is that there's opportunity here, thanks to the war. It's safe, that's for sure. At least for the time being. I don't quite understand the Fae, but they definitely know how to keep a city quiet. You think I like being confined to this cage? Think again. And after all we've done for them in this war, ungrateful creatures. Making a fortune is what? These visitors come with obscene amounts of gold or treasure. They don't mind parting with it. My plan was brilliant. I created a blade, Fae blade, of course, that makes them authentic, something all of them had to have. That's all they care about anyway, Fae souvenirs. I called it the Honor brand. Truth be told, it's dull as a stick, but it's easy to make. Listen, if you can find the parts and make them, I'll pay good money. Fabulous, fabulous! You know a good deal when you see it. There aren't enough people like you in Isa. The Fae don't even use money. Can you imagine? Once you start forging the honor brands, bring them to me and I'll provide you with just compensation. There should be plenty of parts around the city. For creatures with no interest in possessions, they sure know how to collect a fair amount of junk. Keep an eye out for parts.
Bah!
Welcome to the merchant's house. You are encouraged to satisfy your desire to acquire possessions. I do not understand it, but it is not for me to understand.
I can help you with those weapons. You've been watching me long enough. What is it? Did I wrong you in another life, brother? I have no interest in this war between mortals and the deathless. It is a waste of life, and I have my own private battles to finish. If you're willing to spare the gold, I can teach you what I know. In this battered old skull is a lifetime of knowledge, and quite a few stories as well. I don't care to stay in one place for too long. Felltown sounded like a good opportunity, and an even better hiding place. I can't say the peace edict has hurt business, but it's not exactly easy to train students in blacksmithing without weapons around. Let the Fae try to stop me from carrying arms in the city. Weapons are my trade, my only expertise. It would be like asking a hen to stop laying eggs. It's as good a place as any, I guess. But after a while, people begin to remember you. And for someone like me, that's a problem. I prefer anonymity. Besides, could there be a better place to hide from this offensive war? The only weapons you find in a garden are the blades of grass. What you've no doubt heard is correct. I am the Holt Friend. I forged Bolgan's Bane of the Kaled Coast, and many other legendary pieces. My youth was spent as a mercenary, but I have since renounced those ways. Unfortunately, my enemies have long memories, and they aren't as forgiving as I am. It is an ancient Alfar kingdom far across the sea in the dense swamps of Klurkon. I once helped its great lords overcome a terrible Bolgan problem. Farewell.
anything? I've got the best in Isa. If you're looking to buy armor, I'm the only one in Felltown who's authorized to sell it. I'm Gwen a Hand, but my customers call me Gwen. I don't have many weapons to offer, on account of the peace edict, but there's still a selection to pick through. Have at it. He's a dear friend from years ago. He spent time as my apprentice, but recently set out on his own. He sells authentic ritual Fey blades outside in the square. My twin brother and I were entering the army to fight for the Alpha when I panicked. I couldn't. I'm not a fighter. I came to Isa instead. I'm not proud of running, but I'm much more useful here, as an unofficial ambassador of sorts. Not everyone's a fighter. The Tuatha were intensifying their attacks against Mel Sinshir, the Bastion in the east. Of course, that's just rumors. I pray they're not true. Being here isn't good for business, that's for sure. I see the same damn 20 faces every day. But it's an honor for Britt and I to be here. Make no mistake about that. The Fae didn't have laws. At least not official ones, until we arrived. Now they insist that those of us who live in Isa must keep its peace. No weapons. You must be one of the special exemptions. Let me guess. Ambassador? Scholia Arcana? Could be anything. This is where the Fae keep us so we don't blemish their pretty city. Can't say I blame them. We're an unruly and ugly lot, mortals. Come back again.
Hey there. Get over here. We don't abide by strangers in Isa. In this city, everyone is family. If you want to get around the peace edict, you'll have to keep your voice down. Not much to tell. Heard the war horn of the recruiters and packed my bags. Slipped out in the dead of the night, I did. And I'm proud of it. What good is fighting when the Tuatha don't die? Besides, I'm a businessman. I got my hand on a pass into Isa, and the rest has been waterfalls and walks by the river. You know, that neighborhood in the gnome city of Edessa where the poor live. Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's better than the cellar crawl space I called home just 2 months ago, believe me. The Fae may be grumpy, but they've got nothing on giant rats. Well, technically, we're not supposed to carry or sell weapons in Isa, but I've found a few loopholes. As have you. If you're on the market for something deadly, I'm your man. Just don't go blabbing about it to the Fae. They've got buds for brains. It's not exactly the keys of Rathir, or even the hospitalis quarters of Edessa. But Felltown has its charm. If you find out what it is, be sure to come and find me. The Dockside District in Rathir is a lovely place. If you're looking to have your throat cut or contract a nasty disease. Remember it next time you travel there. Farewell.
doesn't look like you've had any luck. Forge me an honor brand and I'll do my best to make it worth your time. Don't keep me waiting too long.
Nora looked rather anxious. I wondered why.
Good. You've come. I'm sorry to make you wait like this, but what I mean to discuss is very sensitive. It involves treachery. She is no politician. She is a warlord, and a cruel one. I've heard stories that would make your heart brittle. She was sent here for one reason alone, to bring down Isa. Despite the calm you see around you, the gardens of Isa are on the brink of war, and the question is, which one will it be? There are plans being made to siege this city. The Varani are displeased with the Court of Summer's lack of support for their people, and they wish to overthrow Tatarian and force the remaining Fae to fight. We can prevent this, but we must act now. If saving your people isn't enough, we can pay you as a reward. The Varani cannot stomach Tatarian's neutrality. They believe that his Fae subjects could be convinced to march with us on the battlefield. I believe this as well, but I would never resort violence. The Varani wish to turn Isa into a military camp. We cannot let that happen. It will ruin all our people have achieved here. Of course, it is the right thing to do. The leader of the plot is the Varani ambassador, Kierna Brenner. Every night, the ambassador strolls Memory Walk, alone. She carries a pair of daggers. Take them. Afterwards, dispose of them. Destroy them. Salvage them. I don't care. Return to me when it is done. The Varani communicate secretly using weapons. They engrave codes into the blades of daggers and swords, and that way, they can get them through a typical search. We believe this particular pair of daggers describes the defenses of Isa, where it's strong and where it's weak. The Varani are plotting, and they will act. She spends most of her time in the embassy, but in the evenings, she enjoys a leisurely stroll through Memory Walk. Try there after dark. Goodbye.
This is the Trellis, gateway to the Court of Summer and His Excellency the High King. Welcome. Be well. Oh, you took me by surprise. I'm not accustomed to mortals on the trellis. Please, enter. I am Lord Saramir, the High Lore Sage of Isa. I am here to answer all questions regarding the House of Ballads and the House of Valor. By choosing to lead the Summer Fae, Titarian is eternally linked to our fortunes, both day and night. He feels the waning magic as a mortal might feel his heart sink at the sight of his sunrise. When our seasons end, Titarian will be the first to enter the long winter. This sanctuary is where the knights of our most prestigious house stay when visiting the Court of Summer. I act as their humble scribe and servant. All Summer Fae clutch the glory of the House of Ballads to its collective breast, knowing that the deeds of one are indeed the deeds of all. It was one of the Fae's great houses until its leader was challenged and beaten, and the magic faded under the mortals' leadership. Now even the sanctuary here on the trellis is wilted and closed as a result of our great loss. Or perhaps it's a sign of something darker. We are the children of the fields and fountains, a Fae body filled with a deep breath of magic. All that you see around you is ours. For many seasons we lived in these forests and canyons alone, distrusting, apart. But once we felt the call to join together, we became the Seelie. It is meant exclusively for those close to the Summer Court, or the ambassador who wishes an audience with the High King. Our most honorable institutions reside on the trellis, including the House of Ballad Sanctuary and what was once the House of Valor Sanctuary. May good fortune follow.
May the stone sing your song to the ages. May the breath of time remember you. Listen. Listen as the echo stone etches each ballad in memory. Olaine sought to bring the light of truth, to save a village plagued, to find a cure for them. Her quest, the Maid of Windermere, her test. Once the ill were brought to health, and the villain had fallen by, good Olaine returned to mortal ground and gifted them with magic found.
Welcome.
Greetings, Dostling. You feel it, don't you? Anyone intimate with the ways of magic can detect the waning current. You're like me, Your Grace. You see the end. Is this how it happened at the House of Ballads? Did Hallam foresee this slow decay? I had a feeling he did. While wise and powerful, he's also brash and narrow. A sliver of light in a world so dark that most of us are blind. His inaction is no match for mortal ambition. It is the source of Summer Court magic and touches our realm of origin, the land of Ashara. Without its constant flow, our kind would dry up like leaves and vanish. As it is in every season, this family of Summer Fae has communed at the feet of its greatest leader, the High King Titarian. The Western Faelands are our domain. It has been located here for many of your generations, what we call seasons. Only in recent times has it been shaped to resemble one of your mortal cities. The Summer Court resides on the highest terrace, far above the rest of us, as it should be. Every season, one is chosen to attend the font's magical flow, to act as ambassador. I'm the only Fae to have held the position more than once. I feel the strength of the currents. They wash through me. They rise up and overflow. However, their power weakens. their cool waters recede. Most mortals know nothing of what lies beyond the veil. The magical realm of Ishara. It is a mystery even to us, as we departed its shores many seasons ago. Of the gardens of Isa? Of the summer court? Why, this crystal war may be the end of all Fae. I know because I am Nomeron, master of the font, the wellspring of all summer court magic. I've seen it flow at its highest, but I've never seen it so dry. Something must be done before all this city withers into nothingness. The font is the source of all summer court magic. It has flowed through this mountainside since our kind sprang up from the dirt. That flow has waned in recent days. It's unnatural, even as the magic in the world grows. The Fae, it seems, will wither. The font's flow is controlled from the Lyceum Grove down below. We must open the root system and allow more water through. However, the magic that regulates this flow can only be used by some. It's protected by a ward known as the Waterlock. It can only be opened by one who carries drops from each of the 5 sacred pools surrounding Isa. Collect these drops, and you can break the Waterlock. Collect water from each of the 5 sacred pools, and then go to the Lyceum Grove. This is where the roots can be opened to regulate the font's flow. Goodbye.
A mortal? Here?
I am the great huntress Hartwan, and you are not allowed on the trellis. What brings you here, beautiful? How quaint. Well, I am the most respected and most deserved to lead. Besides, I detest that harlot, Warlord Winry. So it is only right I meet the High King before her. Every one of our kind is a gift, they say, a role in the telling. Mine is to seek harmony with nature by keeping the wild fae under control. I am the Reaper. Most of my seasons are spent in the shadows of the canopy, tracking my prey. I have come to the Gardens of Isa to report the decay of wild fae. They are disappearing, and the king must be informed. Either they are vanishing due to the decline in fae magic, or someone is hunting them. It's my duty to discover which story is true. Growth is violent, and nothing can reach fruition without surviving conflict. That is nature's way. Our House of Valor celebrated that conflict. Now, however, this great house has fallen to mortals such as you. That is why this sanctuary has withered and faded. The magic is gone. The trellis was created as common ground where the members of the great houses may meet to share knowledge and search for answers. However, it's not been the same since the House of Valor fell and the House of Seasons was deserted. And I always thought that nothing changes. The House of Seasons was where those in tune with the Great Cycle went to understand its many mysteries. But the Great House now stands empty, its occupants gone. King Titarian will not speak of it, but I know something has happened. Whatever it is, the signs are ominous. Goodbye.
Hello.
Yes? Welcome to the gardens, mortal. But you have not come to visit the city, nor to speak with me. You are here on much graver errands. I can help you divine the role you will play in coming events, and the skills needed to finish that journey. We are a special breed, but you know that already. I am only a visitor here like you. Perhaps I was drawn to this place by something greater than myself. Perhaps it was you. This is where the Fae of Isa fulfill their roles in the telling. You mortals call it work, but we see it as following the cycle, letting our nature guide us. Farewell. What do you want?
Greetings, Dustling.
What is it?
Please obey the edict.
We ask that you do not disturb our river.
So, you're done. A right group of snakes, eh? So, any insight into how I should present them so as not to tug their writhing tails? It's good that someone does. Go on. Let's line up these backstabbing serpents. Yes, yes. Of course. And then? All right. Next. Yes, yes. Excellent. That's a perfect order for these fools. Saves me the trouble of talking to them. Thank you. Goodbye, Your Grace.
We ask that you do not disturb our river.
Yes, mortal?
Welcome to the Lyceum Grove, where the majesty of the font is glorified and regulated. I am Jackson, apprentice to the font master and steward of tinctures and elixirs. Bristletongue, my moy, that would be something. A mockingbird with the font's only yield. Of course I will tell you where it is. What would be the fun in refusing? But before I do that, you need to offer me something. Isn't that how you mortals act? One deed for another? As steward of tinctures and elixirs, I often dabble in alchemy, especially with the water from the font. And I need you to drink this potion. Good. I will know what this does to the mortal constitution. Go on, big gulps now. None of that sipping. If you ever wish to learn, come visit.
What do you want? Do you have business with the Varani in the Gardens of Isa? If so, then you must speak with me, Kierna Brenner. She's a disgrace to your people, and I find it hard to believe the Alfar couldn't find a stronger person for such an important position. What do you want? Do you have business with the Varani in the... You must mean Keen and her cohorts in the embassy. Lapdogs, all of them. They don't appreciate the situation. They don't understand sacrifice. This plot interests you. Listen, Ambassador Keen tries to stop me, but she can only do so while she lives and breathes. You can help me put an end to that. Fine. But you are playing this game for the weaker side. If Keen wants to stop us, she will send someone, and when they come, I will be ready.
I am at your service, my liege.
How goes the search? Don't be a stranger.
Bought a title yet?
Welcome. Let us never speak of this again. I don't know you. I don't like you. And I hope I never see you again. Take this gold and these supplies. Such items are hard to come by in wartime. This is where we part. Not everyone is welcome up there. It's where the court of summoned nobles spend their time reminding themselves of past glories. I'd avoid it.
I want to visit a real